our next guest is going to be talking about designing identities that outlive the trends. Anita Rupova is a graphic and brand designer at Origin Design, working with impact-driven brands across Europe and a co-founder of the civic education platform Carski Pištovi. In her session, she will show us how sustainable branding turns stories, emotions, and experiences into long-term systems, and what really stays in people's minds when the logo is no longer in front of them. Stage is all yours, Anita. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here, and to UX Sofia for inviting me. And today we have a little bit of a different topic than UX, but for me, doing branding is also about the user experience. So, what is a logo? I'm sure most of you have heard at least once that a logo is the brand identity or it's the whole branding. It's a very important part of it, but it's just a symbol, and very often what people see first and the first impression. And it's part of the brand identity, indeed, together with other visual key elements, and this brand identity is also part of the whole brand. And I would like to quote Martin Neumeier. He says that branding is the gut feeling people have about product, service, company, organization, whatever the brand is, because that's also the communication. If we had more, let's say, straightforward brands in the 60s, 70s, 80s in terms of communication and how they look, right now brands are acting like humans, and we also treat them that way. We expect them to adapt fast, to talk our language, to connect on a deeper level. And I prepared a few examples for you, and I hope you'll join the little game. So I'm going to show you a few pictures together with 3 key brand values of each brand, and I would like you to guess which one is it, okay? So here is the first one. Yes. It's from the famous campaign Don't Buy This Jacket by Patagonia. This one should be very easy for most of you here, I hope. It's something you're maybe using on a daily basis. Yes. And I really like how they, well, how they show the creativity and the collaboration. Probably. Well, let's see the next example. I hope it will come back fast. Oh, you have it there, right? Yes. So, any guesses? Yeah. And I would like to take this great example when Steve Jobs returned to Apple. And what he did back then is really shifting the perspective how people are perceiving the brand. So it wasn't only about improving the product, but also how people connect with the product. And not all of the brands back then were communicating through emotion. And I know it's very easy sometimes to have a look at the big brands, what they did, what they didn't do, and analyze them. But sometimes I ask myself, and I also get this question, what happens with the small brands that are starting out today when we have so many competitors, we have basically everything as brands. And I prepared a short case study of Carski Pištovi. We also have a booth over there, so welcome to come by in the break. Maybe some of you have heard about it, not the term that we used in school, the ultimate cheat sheet. It does have a connection. Carski Pištovi is an educational platform. What we are doing is discussing topics that are well, not very sexy for everyone, such as politics, and we're trying to make it accessible for people who are probably not following events, what is happening in the country every day. So the year is 2020. We are 3 girls, 3 friends studying in Vienna, some of us working already. And it got announced that next year there are going to be national elections in Bulgaria. Of course, we didn't know there are going to be that many. But around the same time, actually, there were also elections in the US for a president. And we realized we know more what is happening there than what is happening in our own country. Shame on us, I know. But we decided to maybe start researching for ourselves, just keeping up with some previous events, etc. And that's when the problem came. We couldn't really find something for beginners like us. And we started summarizing the information just to make it more understandable for us and doing exactly a cheat sheet of everything, how the system is working, who are the active political parties, etc. So within maybe one day or one night, we were able to validate this idea and to build so-called golden circle, which is a great exercise I'm also doing when I'm building brand strategies. And we defined what we want to make. We decided, okay, we're gonna just post on Instagram what we already have as information because people are scrolling there anyway. And we want to present it in a creative way, so it's also more accessible, more interesting. But what is more important in this example, in the golden circle, is the why. And this is something that helped us 5 years ago to continue doing what we're doing, because we truly believe those topics should be accessible to young people, should be accessible actually to everyone who wants to learn that information. And we believe that the young society are the future of Bulgaria. In the next 3 years, maybe because we already had 5 elections, until then, we were able to build quite an audience. But what is more important is that we built trust among that audience, and people really came to us. They trusted us every time before the elections. But they were only coming before that. So what if we didn't have 5 elections and just 1? So they're gonna come in 4 years and not gonna do anything in between. So that's how we decided to start discussing different topics that are still related to the citizens. And we had this great idea of presenting every topic in a slightly different design, so people can come to our profile on Instagram and easily see, okay, this is the topic of volunteering or something else. It wasn't a great idea, but anyway, it turned out we are super inconsistent with who we are, how we even position ourselves, because back then people were still associating our platform with political platform, which we don't really want to associate ourselves with that. We want to be an educational platform, something bigger and more impactful. And together with that, that we didn't really spend a lot of time building brand strategy and anything, because we also didn't really thought this project will make it that far. And the biggest question after that is, how do we make this brand sustain over time? Because spending time on initiatives is usually what we're doing on our free time. But we want this brand to succeed, and we want to continue doing the impact we had. So we decided to take a step back and go back to the golden circle, the why we started and why should we continue doing what we're doing, and spent around 6-7 months building the core of the brand, the personality, the new positioning, how do we want people to perceive us, and to build a solid design system that we can easily use and maybe spend less time on it so we can focus on bigger projects. And how do we sustain over time? What are our plans for the future? So here is how we looked before that. Not very attractive, but this is what we have now, which is way more consistent. And within that time, for around a year and a half, well, for me, let's say the first number is not that important. Of course, I'm always happy when more people are connecting with us, but what is more important is the impact we can build, how many campaigns we can build, and the value, the impact, the performance, and the trust, of course. So we were able to also build our first partners, long-term partners, and I'm super, super happy and grateful for that, because as I said, for me, branding is not only about just the vision, it's also about how people perceive us. And as a key takeaway, I would like you to think of branding as trust, impact, value, and of course, logo, because after all, it's an important part of the brand. Thank you.